Awesome. We'll now have Christian, who's going to join us again on stage, and we've already heard from Christian earlier about handover processes and some of the work that he's doing at AJ Digital. Again, the idea really with the showcase is there are many different processes that have to be figured out, and sometimes we may not have done the process before, and we end up and someone ends up opening our eyes to that process. And Christian is another example of that, because he was the first person really that pushed us to start looking at this handover piece. So looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you very much, Mo. I have not put together a presentation. Rather, I decided to show you sort of our template project and just run through essentially what the structure looks like and its ability to be customized. Share my screen, bear with me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, always, as I said earlier, always love live demos. I'm looking forward to seeing you showcase this. And
Is that the right screen? Can you see the platform? Wonderful. Right. Okay. So this is essentially our out-of-the-box standardized O&M structure that we tend to want to implement with existing and new clients. Often there are requirements or EIRs which stipulate particular structures, particular O&M subfolders, and what information they want. But failing that, then we have here something which suits in terms of it pulls the information from both Fabric and MEP that it's required to be satisfactory from a BISRIA perspective. We have a health and safety file, which I am led to believe is CDM compliant, but Alan, if you could confirm, that would be great. So the idea with the system is that we have a lot of folders set up on the left-hand side as a folder structure, essentially, and you access via processes, tables, which are essentially in the admin side of things. When you click on health and safety file process, we have all the sort of subsections of a health and safety file, within which we have access through to the table itself. The health and safety file is predominantly a description title page with the ability to attach files. Jumping on to the O&Ms, there's the structure itself, and it can be obviously customized as you see fit. You can add sections, remove sections, consolidate them with quite a lot of ease. O&M perspective, they set up a process per subcontractor. There's a few example packages there, but often we're up in the neighborhood of about 50 packages. All of the structures within the Fabric O&M is standardized. For those that have had the pleasure or displeasure of dealing with O&Ms, traditionally they are in the template of the subcontractor themselves. So some will be more detailed, some won't. Some will be good, some will be bad. So the standardization of the structure is something which there's a lot of benefits to the end user to have familiarity of what section to look in for particular documents when they're operating the building. Let me drop these down. In the template package, we've not utilized referential drop-downs or pick lists. Like an example, in terms of maintenance and cleaning routine, your product name will be manually entered. Your maintenance type, we tend to use pick lists of recommended, warranty-based, or warranty and statutory requirements to allow the person that's going to be operating it to understand whether or not this is a recommendation to be done, whether or not you need to do it at whatever stipulated frequency to maintain a warranty, or indeed it's a statutory requirement to check fire dampers or whatever it may be, which allows them then to prioritize their activity lists, which they found very useful. Frequency, we tend to use numeric, but it often, well, if we can get it agreed with the client, if they want it to be someone to write fortnightly or actually put in a numerical value, which is computer readable if they're going to be pushing this information into a CAFM system. I mentioned earlier, but briefly, our intention with these tables is to draw out the key bits of information for use within a CAFM platform. And the attached files would be supplementary. From a maintenance perspective, diagrams, etc., are obviously very important. And your ability then to add the attached file, view it on platform if indeed they want to continue with the platform, is quite efficient. But again, if you want to export the information, it'll all come out. So these processes, you can see it's almost a data tag there with the particular package reference. It's all populated into one table for maintenance and cleaning routine. So as the subcontractors are populating their maintenance and cleaning routines, it's almost creating a master PPM schedule within the main table itself, which then can be exported for use by the client at the end, or indeed referenced however they see fit. So the process of getting this package or this system live would be to sit down with the client or the contractor or our client and understand what level of control we want to give the subcontractors, or what level of control we want to retain with stipulating pick lists to ensure consistency of the information that's being supplied. All of the information, when it's being populated, as standard, there's a 2-tier review workflow, whereas it's uploaded as a draft, so therefore technical information or technical data sheets which have yet to achieve the correct status of A or whatever is stipulated on the CDE can be populated in draft format, and then an attached file, when it's ready to be handed over, can be put in, and it's offered for review. It runs through a QA review to ensure that everything's populated correctly, and it's not just populated with the refer to attach, refer to attach, refer to attach, which used to happen quite frequently, but I'm happy to report it's reducing year on year. Then the workflow itself, and the setup is within this structure, is that we'll set up the packages, who indeed is the, so let's say, QA manager for the QA review, and the specific person and user that is looking after that package. When it comes to O&Ms, what often happens is that from a subcontractor perspective, or in my experience, from a subcontractor perspective, the person on site installing the particular products, who has great knowledge of what has gone in, passes the information down to someone from an admin perspective in the office to populate the O&M, and we often get products which are incorrect, products that haven't been used, etc. So the beauty with the system is setting the notification to the particular package manager that manage the install of the particular package, is that they know from a technical perspective what products are being used, what products potentially have been missed, to give it that technical review. Once it's fully accepted from a contractor perspective, in this instance, it can be handed over, or incremental access can then be given to the client. We can add a third review process from the client, so they can either sign off each individual element that's been uploaded, or they can sign off sections, or they can sign off, there's an option to sign off the entire O&M. Other bits to complement the actual O&M documentation. So you've got project certification, which again, completely customizable. You can add sections to it to sort of draw out that information that potentially the client wants to see early. Construction record information, or drawings from the consultants, essentially. Any historic information that we've recently been on a couple of projects which are retrofits, and there's traditional O&Ms that are there. There is an option to retrospectively digitize, or just to host it so it's all in one place for the end user. Handover deliverables, there's a sort of a varying degree of services that we provide, but ultimately you'll have within all of the EIRs a variety of documents which will stipulate what certification and documentation is required to achieve PC. We refer to it as sort of PC critical. So what we tend to do is either review those requirements for the client and produce a list that's often sort of 250 to 350 items long, stipulating particular certification, and then run through a review, and with a Boolean essentially stipulate which of those are PC critical. In the ideal world, the client will receive all of the project handover information at PC. Doesn't happen. I don't think I've experienced it once, and I'm looking forward to experiencing it. But the idea with it is just to get to a middle ground of what information do you actually need to be able to take ownership of the building, insure the building, operate the building. That will provide a list that we'll then monitor. Excuse me, we'll monitor through the duration of our involvement in the project, and hopefully demonstrate that it's being achieved. There is a review workflow that's separate from the O&Ms, where the client can then sign it off, so it's been witnessed, it's not going to be changed, and then there is assurance being provided to the client agent, project director, that information is indeed being signed off, and we're looking likely on a particular date to be able to legally hand the building over. From a reporting perspective, I today was thrown out of Power BI for a variety of reasons, but I've got an old report. I can't sign into this at the moment, but essentially, I know, Mo, you discussed that you're putting sort of internal pie charts, bar charts, etc., to be able to report on information on the platform. We sort of tag into the back end via API for pulling down to Power BI for our own processing. We add other bits of information as in PC dates. We've got a countdown and then can draw off some information activity on the platform. We a countdown to PC.
Hi, Christian. For some reason, something has gone on with the LinkedIn presentation. It's not on your side. It's on our side. Okay. Hi, everyone. We're really sorry for what just happened. We had a technical issue. Apparently, LinkedIn Live has a limit of 4 hours, which had not come to our attention before, our fault. But I think the key thing, just to explain why we chose LinkedIn Live, we wanted to make it as accessible and as open for people as possible, and we didn't want to introduce another platform, to be honest. If you have any feedback on the format of the event in the future, please let us know. I also really want to apologize to Christian and to all of the other speakers for this. I hope people are able to have rejoined and are able to rejoin us. But I'm just going to bring Christian back to continue what he was saying. And again, apologies for this.
No worries. All right, let me just share my screen again. I think it is that one. Can you see that?
Yeah, you're back on.
Right, so what I'm not sure when we were cut off, but essentially we were running through the platform, and in terms of the reporting, so I touched upon earlier the fact that the O&Ms at PC are sort of incomplete, and you're not really finding out how complete they become until they're being looked at in depth by the people looking after the building or operating the building. Now, to facilitate these reports early days, we were asking the subcontractors to essentially give us a list of the total number of documents that are being supplied. Now, with delivery plans, etc., that you get a little bit more assurance with it, but it's never really, from an O&M perspective, that accurate. But to formulate these reports, which gives you a little bit of a activity on platform, what's going on, how many records are anticipated, received, countdown to PCs, and a bit of insights via that. And then you can drop down into activities per month, who's got actions with them, going into the O&Ms themselves and breaking it down into a little bit more detail. So essentially the depth of the report can be quite granular, and depending on whom you are, you get different access. The client may have a higher access to say how complete, particularly if the fabric or MEP. If you're a manager of the package, you can have a look at the specific sections of your package and understand how complete it is. So I think the takeaways from myself from the Morta platform is the fact that all of what I've just demonstrated is completely customizable to suit your requirements or indeed your client requirements. It's very easy to use, and set up and manage. Adding users is one of the simplest platforms I've used, and managing their access is very straightforward. Moving forward, the plans to improve it, if time allows, is obviously there's a lot of talk about integration, Mo. So the double handling of information with O&Ms tends to be technical submittals, as-built drawings, and test and commission information. They tend to get reviewed and approved on whatever CDE the project is using. So understanding when a tech sub gets to the relevant status, let's say status A, and is ready to come across, and indeed if it could be pulled across without the double handling and potential misuse of the information by whomever is pulling it across, that would drive a lot of efficiencies. And then the utilization, as I mentioned earlier, of the COBE data or Revit links to essentially pre-populate or inform the O&M. I don't see a reason why you couldn't have an O&M that's being populated via the model, provided the model is specified to a certain level of detail, etc., and segregated for CDP packages, that when you open up your package, you have a list of your products that you have supplied that's been pulled from the model. But not only that, based on industry standards for that particular product, are we expecting a warranty? Are we expecting as-built drawings for this particular package? Specific information that is required, but maybe not known to the admin personnel that's been tasked with populating it, and ultimately get to a position where the project can be handed over at PC with all of the information, or if not all of the information, a succinct list and a deadline for when that information will be made available. And that really ends it there.
Thanks a lot, Christian. Thanks for sharing that with us. And again, really brave choice with the live one. Apparently, you broke LinkedIn, not you broke us. But no, it's thanks a lot for sharing your insights with us and for making it today.